What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name is Michael Bremen, aka All Fires. Tomorrow is the finale of Secret Invasion. Perfect time for us to lay down our theories for what's coming in said finale, and of course what the setup is for the future of the MCU. Now, to be fair, none of the previous episodes of Secret Invasion have included a post-credit scene, but that doesn't mean in the past Marvel hasn't used the end of a series, say like WandaVision, to set up some major things. So call it a post-credit scene or per se, maybe just what happens at the very end. We're going to talk about what we think our ultimate theory for the harvest is, something I haven't heard other content creators talk about yet. I think that there is something very obviously going on there that leads us not only to Red Hulk, but a very specific thing with Vale and the future of what we may call a Dark Reign run in the MCU. We're breaking it all down, our ultimate theory for the ending and post-credit scenes of Secret Invasion. But first, if you could grab the subscribe button. We do daily Marvel content at the channel, and that's all we do. Everything from official Easter egg breakdowns, trailers, and reviews to the occasional industry insider report and everything in between. So if that sort of thing's for you, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below. That will automatically enter you to win our ongoing PS5 giveaway. The next one is just a day away to coincide with the finale of Secret Invasion in the Easter egg video. Again, all you gotta do, be a sub, leave a comment on this video if you want, stick around to the end of the video, we get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Okay, so since day one, I've always said Valentina Allegra DeFontaine's placement in Falcon and the Winter Soldier made her the most likely to be a Skrull candidate. The fact that she was introduced as early as possible in Phase 4 sort of showed up at the end and in a nefarious way, and now with the most recent transpirings of the Secret Invasion series, we know that Skrulls being in positions of power, say like a CIA head, are absolutely something they would do. Now, full transparency, there has been a quote on the internet for over a week, something I have not brought up on social media or at my channel, and from the director on the series, that I think completely spoils the finale, and we will talk about it at the very end of this video as it pertains to the series, but I will make a very clear issue of a spoiler warning before we get into it. But working on the premise that Valentina Allegra DeFontaine is a Skrull and that her goal is ultimately the same as Gravik's. Also working off the theory that no matter what happens at the end of Secret Invasion, Skrulls will continue in the future of the MCU, and because we've seen them in the Marvel's trailer, I would suspect her mission will be the same, to sort of destabilize the Earth as much as possible, make it as easy to take over as possible, something they were trying to do since what looks like their infiltration during the snap and the blip. Now, I only say that because I think it would be a convenient entrance point for them to start taking over bodies, especially of high-ranking officials, and it could be the case that we see Valentina Allegra DeFontaine is one of them. But we also know, as now canonized in the MCU, a Skrull like Nick Fury's wife could take the face or the appearance of someone who's dying. Once they've passed, no one would know they were a Skrull. Again, if they do end up liberating a ton of people in the basement, Rhodey and the like at the end of the Secret Invasion series, whoever Valentina Allegra DeFontaine was may not be down there. She may have killed her. That being said, I think she will ultimately continue to carry out that plan, which will lead to her being behind the scenes in Thunderbolts, and ultimately what happens in a Dark Reign storyline, as we've talked about here at the channel in the last couple of days. Now, to tie this theory in just a little bit, as I've seen people talk about the harvest this week, one thing I haven't seen mentioned is that the harvest by definition means the gathering of crops. You can use harvest metaphorically, but its actual definition is to gather crops, or rather something you sow. That tells me that it had always been the plan to gather the Avengers' blood whenever it was shed. It's just that all of them happened to shed it at once. And if it was the plan to gather it in the first place, it might have also been the plan to weaponize it, as we often saw was an ancillary offshoot of what S.H.I.E.L.D. was ultimately trying to do with technology and at all times. That's what leads me to believe that the machine that Gravik is using now, the place that we'll see whoever Nick Fury is, or if it's Gaia pretending to be him, squaring off against Gravik the Super Skrull, that machine might have been in development long before Gravik ever took it over, as part of, say, S.W.O.R.D. or S.H.I.E.L.D., part of Saber, some of the technology they were developing for the harvest. And again, I say this because if the harvest was what it was called, that means that they were taking crops, meaning this was all planned out. Why would you go and get it if you didn't plan on using it in the first place? That also tells me that the government has plans still of figuring out how to use and harness super soldiers, something we know since day one Thunderbolt Ross has been obsessed with. Now, obviously, I think by just involving Thunderbolt Ross, the Red Hulk was a given, because they could have just used Valentina Allegra DeFontaine. The fact that they brought Harrison Ford back to be Thunderbolt Ross makes it feel like that was to be Red Hulk. And why would Harrison Ford really even want to do this if there wasn't the promise of him becoming a Red Hulk? I think it's absolutely a shoo-in that's going to happen, but I think this will have a lot more to do, not necessarily with the harvest, but what the government has been practicing with in making super soldiers, something that will be in line with them in the Thunderbolts, what might be in line with the Serpent Society, and ultimately, if we get introduced to Sentry during the Thunderbolts, it might be an offshoot of this same program as well. Why I think this is super exciting, because it lays all of the groundwork when we finally get to that next saga and turn the page to have a Weapon X program that will ultimately be an extension of a through line from the Infinity Saga, starting with what we saw in Captain America, a weapons program as well, and then taken into the future of the MCU. In the meantime, I think the rumors about Armor Wars possibly talking about Stark's technology as it applies to a Kree-Skrull war in the future of the cosmic universe has a lot to do too with this through line here, the same with Val. And so if this technology is an extension of Stark, I think it's at least worth pointing out, but if Stark's technology, or ultimately the technology that they've got their hands on now, could lead to a Weapon X program, that could be one in the same fight if the Skrulls happen to be behind it. Which, if Valentina Allegra de Fontaine is ultimately that character, well, then you could see how Secret Invasion, the series, would really make a lot more sense as maybe the beginning of it, instead of a series that's wrapping it all up in 6 episodes, which again, here's my ultimate theory, is that Secret Invasion is not the series that's meant to wrap it up, it's actually the series that's meant to start it all. Now, the quote that I was referring to at the beginning of this video, which I will issue the spoiler warning here, I don't think it gives everything away, but I think his language was very specific, and we're now less than 24 hours away from the episode, or okay, just over 24 hours still. If you don't want to hear this, now would be the time to back out. 3, 2, 1. The director said more specifically this wasn't a show about Nick Fury vanquishing Gravik as much as it was a show about Nick Fury reconciling with Gravik, which at least tells me whatever's coming for the end of this episode might not be the sort of definitive conclusion for the Skrull storyline that we're looking for. Again, which only solidifies my theory that this is the start of the Secret Invasion, not the end of it. We've got a lot more Skrulls in the future of the MCU. Now, how that ties into what's going on with the multiverse, I'm not sure that it does, and it might end up being a subplot line that they can run through the more grounded stuff on Earth. Remember, Kevin Feige said throughout the multiverse there would also be something Earthbound, and it would feel distinct. This could definitely be that storyline. Either way, what I hope for is the setup for Red Hulk. Harrison Ford perhaps would be an awesome cameo, and or Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. I do not expect an Avenger to show up of any kind, even Captain Marvel. That being said, Captain Marvel to me would be the most likely Avenger, or a setup for the Marvels, since it seems like, and already with the veracity of the promo that's already going on for the Marvels this far out from the film, Marvel Studios and Disney are going all in with that. This would seem like the most likely place, again, to get some marketing in as they're wrapping up Secret Invasion. Guys, let me know all your thoughts down below, though, how you feel about this. If you agree that the Skrull storyline might not be done in the MCU, and that it's likely that Val is the flag bearer for that storyline, and also, if you believe that Disney still has it in them and that Marvel Studios might pull a cameo out of left field tomorrow, who do you have? I know crazier things have happened. See Luke Skywalker showing up at the end of the season 2 of Mandalorian, but with the way that they've talked about this series, I just don't believe that's in the cards for tomorrow. Guys, let me know all your thoughts down below. Quickly, let's get into giveaway stuff before I let you go. Alright, the next PlayStation giveaway is 2 or 3 videos away. It will be announced in the Easter egg video after the finale. We are doing the watch party again tomorrow night. So first of all, if you're going to stay up and watch the finale, we're going to watch it here live at the channel. We go live around 2 a.m. Eastern, around 11 Pacific, about an hour before the finale starts. We hang out. I watch here as you watch at home. Then we have discussion afterwards. Make sure to drop by. It's always a good time. I expect tomorrow to be our biggest of the season yet. Also, if you want to be entered for the giveaway, it will be announced just days away. All you got to do, hit the subscribe button because you need to be a subscriber, then leave a comment down below because it's truly random. The more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. All winners will be announced at the end of videos, the same way we're doing here. The best way to keep up with the content has always been to hit the notification bell with all notifications turned on. And as always, if you liked today's video, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the like button. My name's Michael Roman. You can find me in a couple of places, Instagram and Twitter at @I'mFires. You can also find me on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Apple, iTunes, wherever you listen to original music under the name All Fires. And while I sincerely appreciate you checking my music out, thanks for checking this channel out. Stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.